this idea of an Easter timeline, and I don't know that's probably flexible. What are the metrics by which you will make the decision as to whether you can say, yes, we can open up this area of the country, or no, we can't open up that area? I mean, will you be looking at disease numbers? Will you be looking at possible containment, isolation?
I think we'll be looking at a lot of things. We'll also be looking again at very large portions of our country, and I will be guided very much by Dr. Fauci and by Deborah and by some of the other professionals that work with both of you, and we're going to see what will be. But that would certainly be, I think that's a goal that perhaps can happen, or at least for a very large portion of our country.
Dr. Fauci, since, as the president said, you and Dr. Birx and others will be guiding him and making the decision, where are you now with this timeline of 19 days from now?
So, I mean, that's really very flexible. We just had a conversation with the president in the Oval Office talking about, you can look at a date, but you got to be very flexible. And on a literally day by day and week by week basis, you need to evaluate the feasibility of what you're trying to do. And John, you asked for, what kind of metrics, what kind of data. When you look at the country, I mean, to this in my opening remarks, that we really need to know more about what the penetrance is there. So if we do the kind of testing what we're doing, and testing will always be associated by identification, isolation, and contact tracing, and you find after a period of time that there are areas that are very different from other areas of the country, you may not want to essentially treat it as just one force for the entire country, but look at flexibility in different areas. So I think people might get the misinterpretation. You're just going to lift everything up, and even somebody's going like that. That's not going to happen. It's going to be looking at the data. And what we don't have right now that we really do need is we need to know what's going on in those areas of the country where there isn't an obvious outbreak. Is there something underneath the surface that says, wait a minute, you better be careful and really clamp down? Or what looks there that you don't really have to be as harsh as you are in other areas. So it's looking at information that up to this point, John, we never had. So it's a flexible situation.
Was New York becoming is New York becoming the epicenter?
Well, it certainly is by far if you call it hot, if you call it any word you want to use, it is at a level that I was speaking to Tony before. It's a level that no place else is close. It's very unfortunate. One of the things that's happened that we've done, I think, a really good job on, I think that it's something special what's happened is I learned from Dr. Birx a little while ago when she said, I learned it actually this afternoon, in 8 days, because we kept hearing about South Korea. They had a very tough time at the beginning, if you remember. In 8 days, we're doing more testing than they've done in 8 weeks. That's a tremendous turn. And with our testing, it's going exponentially. It's going up, up, up every day. So we're going to be able to do things with this very highly sophisticated testing. And it's also, the test itself is considered the best test. So on top of doing now more than anybody else, we have a very high quality test. That makes a big difference. It also makes a big difference even in terms of opening, because we're going to see those areas like the hot spots. But New York City definitely is a very hot spot.
When you talk about areas that you could open up, what specifically are you looking at? What states? Are you talking about out west?
Well, you can talk about the Farm Belt. Take a look at the Farm Belt. Take a look at areas out west. Look at